Shamelessly Shontay has had its first viral moment. And when I say viral, I mean viral. Because we know there are tiers of viralness. Whether it's, I don't know, 5,000 views, 10,000 views, 20,000 views, 100,000 views, 500,000 views. Well, we had a clip reach 1.2 million views to date. And it is still growing. It is still reaching new people because the account that it was launched on, I don't know, it has like 16,000 followers. So that means that we know that it has reached a whole new bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now, the anticipation of this clip going viral, I would say was about a medium level. It wasn't like, nah, it's going to flop, but it also wasn't like, yes, it's going to hit this amount of numbers. We thought it was going to succeed because it succeeded on another platform. Okay, so the clip is of Shamelessly Shontay Squad talking with a guest, and we're asking him, which country do we think has the most beautiful women? And he responds with, I don't know, Brazil because of the mix, South Africa because of, he didn't give us an answer. I don't think he gave an answer, right?
No.
Okay, and then he says Rwanda for the chocolate sisters, and then I say, well, what about the States? And he was like, oh, I thought we were speaking on the premise of like outside the States. I'm like, no, right? And then he goes, he reps his college that he went to 20 years ago. So that's okay because I went to college 20 years ago as well. Anyway, so we launched that and it just goes out of control. And it reached an international viewership. And this is why it went viral, because the countries that he spoke about were in the comments, proud, posting their flags, saying, yes, he got the list right. Others saying, no, he got the list wrong. And then the not so good ones like, well, of course the host feel some type of way because he didn't name Black American women, assuming that I'm a Black American woman, first of all. So when I saw some of the negative comments, and I don't know, this is how life works. People sometimes concentrate on the negative more than the positive, unfortunately. It triggered me. So when it was at its, growing stage, I was just like, oh my gosh, why are these people in the comments saying that I have a face or I am this type of way, and maybe even commenting on my looks because I'm not part of the list that he mentioned. So anyway, I was triggered for about 2 days just trying to understand how did we get this way just from 30 seconds. The clip is literally 38 seconds, you all. And I have to give context because it's going to roll into this next piece. But yes, it's a 38 second clip. And what my takeaway from that is people don't ever have the full context of a conversation, because we spoke to that guest for about an hour or so. And what's funny is that we never even focused on that clip during our debrief. We spoke about another clip that we thought was absolutely hilarious, but didn't catch as much attention as this beauty clip. So for us, it was just kind of like a moment in time when we didn't think anything of it. But for the digital and social space, it was like, we want to talk about this. So being triggered earlier this week, another clip came my way. And, well, let me go back and dissect this clip. So it depends on your POV, right? So he named a country that has a mixture, right? So does that mean that he is bigging up Black women by saying that it is a mixture, the country is a mixture? Or is he referring to just the variety of people in that country? Either way, he's not necessarily talking about it being all Black, okay? South Africa, a mixture of people again. And then he comes up and he says Rwanda. Now, when I dissect that, I wasn't mad, but I could see that I can understand why people got a different message from it as well. All right. So I was sent a clip of these three men. Two of them were British on a podcast with a man and another man. Let me be specific since it's about race. With a white man and an Indian man, okay? Mm-hmm. And throughout the entire podcast, they are speaking about, I would say, just repulsive topics, to be honest. Race, women, things they do to women, stereotypes, generalizations, and just 2 hours and 4 minutes of, let me use their terminology, rubbish. So I want to know if you all saw this clip. And you know what? Let me get particular in my words. I'm referring to the two men that host the podcast, ShxtsNGigs, and they were on the Andrew Schulz podcast. Mm-hmm. Okay? So the two clips that are circulating right now are focusing on the black women effect.
What is the black girlfriend effect?
This is don't know about
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. Glows up, bro.
I like that.
And then they actually open it up talking about Nigerians.
Yoruba, Igbo, and then Hausa. Yeah. Damn. What's the one? Who are the smart ones?
I would say Yorubas.
Yoruba. And then who are like the conniving ones?
I can't speak on that.
I can't speak on that. What is the stereotype? We're just speaking about like stereotypes.
I would say stereotypically Nigerians as a whole are scammers.
Can I tell you?
I wouldn't like that.
All right. What are your thoughts?
So my question is, as far as the black effect, are you asking about the whole clip or just the term the black effect?
Listen, you can take it wherever you want, but I'm actually referring to how they spoke about it on the pod.
Yeah. So when I initially saw the clip, when they were talking about the black effect, they were initially trying to illustrate their way of saying whenever someone who isn't black dates a black girl, that their swag goes up.
Yep.
They get nice lineup. They basically their swag goes from like 2 to 10, right? Now entering Andrew Schulz, who is a comedian who is paid to kind of push the envelope. He started saying things about black women, right? Those things were, distasteful and like incorrect. But he is a comedian, so I can see how they would.
You about to get off this show. No, I'm just kidding. You're good. I love this perspective. You're keeping it real neutral.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just keeping it real because he is a comedian and they're on a show with a comedian. So he's trying to put a joke out there. Whether it's funny or not, that's up to the viewer, right? But now they're on his podcast, so they're going to laugh. They're going to, kind of keep the show going. And so I think for us to try to cancel those two is wrong. I think your anger and your attention should go towards Andrew Schulz, if anything, right? Because he is the one who kind of put that out there. And for a person to, nervously laugh, or a person to laugh about anything and then be like, all right, we're going to cancel you because you didn't stick up for us. Okay, I understand your point of view, but at the same time, they're, guests on his podcast in our country where they're trying to just, maybe move on. And so I think how we're able to just kind of take all the attention from Andrew Schulz and put it on these two guys who are from a different country, different values, different culture, and then say we're going to cancel you guys because you didn't stick up for black people, when they didn't necessarily say anything. They were trying to actually prove the point of black women upping the swag of white men, or vice versa. And so I just think the anger is misplaced, in my opinion.
But that could be part of the problem.
Yeah.
The fact that they just sat there and giggled or, guffawed or whatever. You just laughed.
Did you see the clip, Francis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how did you feel about it?
It was just another aspect of men just sitting there letting other men talk about women, black women, with nothing to say but, oh, that's so funny, ha, 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 ha. Like,
okay,
I get it they're guests on the show, but why can't you call that person out just because you're the guest? So you're just going to be obedient in their show and go with the flow?
Interesting choice of words, obedient.
I mean,
let's say what it is, because we're having a racial conversation, and that's unfortunately what it is.
Okay.
I really want to escape race in my life, but I can't. It's a part of the life.
It 100% is. So, okay, let's use another word instead of obedient.
Yep.
You want to be polite.
Okay.
And not call the person out on the negativity that they're speaking of. Why?
I mean, weak character. Maybe they don't have that bone in their body to speak up. Not necessarily that's what they feel. They just can be a coward person. They can be a weak individual, but they don't necessarily. They can. I don't know them, so But I'm just saying, as a person who could potentially be weak or cowardly, who doesn't want to speak up, that doesn't also mean that they align with what they're saying.
Don't be shy, Michael. You saw the clip, okay? You saw the body language, and honestly, when they opened up with the Nigerian clip, I'm going to come to you, Kimberly, because I know you got a thought. When they opened up with the Nigerian clip, one of the gentlemen is Nigerian, okay? Yeah. Oh. And they started like right off the bat giving crazy stereotypes, and you could tell that the strength wasn't in them to even say, "Hey, watch your mouth."
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
and that's all it took. You could tell. So like, you're trying to soften it up. Like, I don't know them. I don't know if they have courage or not. No, we saw what it was, and I get it. You want the show to continue. You don't want to offend the guests, right? And I'm just speaking with passion here, because it's a hard situation to say what you would do when you're actually not in the situation, right? You don't want to kick off the podcast or the conversation with negative energy, but like, honestly, it already started with negative energy, in my opinion. What, Kimberly, you saw it.
I did see it. And I think, the thing that just really gets me is, so often people are in that situation where somebody says something that you just know is wrong. And I think people just need to have the courage to say, hey, like, you know what, that's not funny. You know what, I can't go along with that in the moment, versus waiting until the next day when there's blowback and then you've got to make an apology. No, I mean, these are two Black men. They know what racism is. They know what it looks like. And at the end of the day, love who you want to love. It doesn't matter the race of the person. My thing is, don't tear down women within your own community, though, as a part of that. I don't know these two men on a personal level, obviously. I don't know what their history is in dating Black women. May be negative, but don't let your negative experience then play into these negative stereotypes about the Black women that are in your community. And that is just what continues to happen. And we allow it. We allow people in other countries of other races to say things about our community, and then we laugh about it.
So, Kimberly, do you think that if you are not in a group or a culture or a race, that anyone outside of that race can speak about that race? So let me give you non-race. Can men speak on women? Can women speak on men? Can Black people speak on white people? Can white people speak on Black people? If you're not in that community, do you think they can have an opinion, but do you think they have the right to say, like, whatever it is they want?
There you go. You can have an opinion about anything. Have your opinion. But you cannot speak on experience. You don't know what it's like to be a Black woman. You don't know what it's like to be a Black man unless you are of that race. So, yes, have your opinions, but no, you can't speak on an experience that really carries any weight, in my opinion. You just can't.
Okay. So, did anybody hear the apology?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
With thoughts?
My first thought was stand on what you did. Stand on what you said.
10 toes.
10 toes.
They might
Stand
not have
hard.
any.
Because you didn't have anything to say then. So why have something to say now?
Yeah.
Blowback.
Yeah. And that's my point. That's the only reason.
And that's right.
That they're saying something. If there was no blowback, they would have just kept going on about their day as if nothing happened.
Absolutely.
So we saw that the two Brits they issued an apology saying that they felt like they let down their community and it wouldn't happen again. Literally, it wouldn't happen again. Andrew Schulz has not issued an apology. Do we think he should have? Or he should?
He showed who he really is. So what he said is what he said.
He very well may be standing 10 toes down.
Yeah. What is there to apologize for?
So if Andrew were in the room right now, what would you two say to him? Oh, Kimberly, go ahead, please.
Well, no, it's like, you ask a person if they are racist, they will tell you up and down, no, I am not a racist.
So pretend I'm Andrew.
Right? Okay, so Andrew, the things that you said about Black women, what are you basing that on? Mm-hmm. And do you recognize that the things that you said are hurtful? Do you feel any kind of way about that? Do you understand that you are just, again, perpetuating stereotypes that are really having an impact on a community that you are not a part of? How is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm still Andrew. Francis, what would you say?
Kind of same thing Kimberly said. As Black women,
Andrew, address me.
Black women, we spend our lives trying to negate negative stereotypes. And here you are amplifying it because you have this platform. People listen to you and you don't care. Why is that? Why even speak on us?
They don't got nothing else to talk about. We're always in that conversation.
Always.
Okay, Michael, I'm Andrew.
Yeah.
What would you say to him?
I'd be like, Andrew, why did you say that? What made you feel comfortable to say that? Was it because you felt like nothing's going to happen to you? If I was in the room with you and I got visibly angry with you, would you still say that? Actually, say it again right now, and let's see. And let's see if you complete your sentence. And then if not, then don't say that when I'm not in the room.
Okay,
I love that.
Yes.
All right, here's my my words to Andrew. I think I would say, all right, so Andrew, like, I get you're a comedian, but your jokes aren't landing.
Boo.
So let's move on.
Please.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go a little bit broader. Why are we not seeing more Black women and Black men supporting one another?
It feels like everybody's fighting for resources, and they don't believe that everybody can get a piece of the pie. They think because you get that, you just took that away from me. And so it's like that perpetuating idea of whatever you have, you essentially took it from me. And I think until we break that cycle of like, you can win, I can win, we can all win, then we're all just going to be, fighting over the same resources.
I see where it's lopsided to where Black women are always holding up Black men, always supportive of Black men. And then you have the Black man, not all, okay, some that are not. And they will talk negatively about the Black woman. Growing up in the Black household, you have Black moms, Black aunties, Black sisters. But for whatever reason, they don't stand up for the everyday Black woman. They'll talk down to us any chance they get. But the Black woman will always stand behind a man, even when they've been wronged. Because I think that it's just something ingrained in us.
Like a loyalty?
Yeah, that we have to uphold our men because no one else will. No one else will. And for Black men holding up women, I wonder if they say, women, we got ourselves, because we know 9 times out of 10 we're gonna be let down. So we're our own rock. We support each other. Our community for Black women is so tight that because we know that we won't be upheld by some Black men, don't worry, sis, I got you. I got you, sis.
Gosh, I see it both ways. I think sometimes, though, too, Black men don't feel supported by Black women. And so they will say, well, that's why I am not with a Black woman. So, I think it might lean more heavily the other way, though, where it's the Black woman not feeling supported and kind of left. But it does happen on the other side, too, And I think when you ask a man that question, that is what he will say. Is like, yes, I love my mother and my grandmother and my aunties, and they were all and are all strong women. I honor them. But these are my experiences when I got out there and was ready to start relationships. It was very negative. And unfortunately, whatever that experience was, it made it very easy for them to say, you know what, this is now my preference, and it's not to be with someone from my community. So, I think though there are two things here. I think because your initial question was, why aren't we supporting each other?
Yes.
And I think that, Michael, you kind of hit on that too, is that, listen, the pie's big enough. We can all have our piece. We can all, be successful. We should champion each other. And there's maybe not enough of that happening. But I think for so long, the pie was not big enough for all of us. And it was like, for people in our community, you had to work twice as hard and twice as long to get a little piece of that sliver of the pie. And so we became more competitive with each other instead of being supportive of each other and uplifting each other and feeling like, hey, you can win. When you win, I win. When I win, you win. And that's, in my view, what we're not seeing enough of. And we're seeing that in business. We're seeing that in relationships. Like, it is ingrained. It's become ingrained in our community.
So very personal is when in business is when a person of color, because we do a lot of business with, people of color, tell me no. And I'm like, what a peculiar response. And it's peculiar because I'm not expecting that no from someone that is in the community, especially when it makes sense. And I question if I were this, would your response be that, whether gender or different race? And are you treating me this way because of my appearance? That's what I often feel, whether it is in a correspondence in email. We see passive aggressive all the time from external parties. And you're just like, who are you talking to and why? So now I have to take the bigger road because I can appear as such.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you've just triggered this.
Yep.
And you expect me to roll over. No, that's not what we're going to do. So I have to go into, I don't do this, go into Chat GPT and find the most professional way to tell your ass off.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yes.
Especially in the professional space, because I never realized that it was so competitive. Yeah. Right? I'm not competing against you, Michael. I'm not competing against you, Kimberly and Francis. I'm actually championing you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you win, like you said, you and the way it works is, guess what? If you win, you got to bring somebody with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't always last with you.
That's right.
The attention or whatever it is does shift.
Mm-hmm.
So then who's it going to go to next? And if you haven't pulled up the right folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasted
that,
opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And I don't know if everybody has learned that yet. You gotta pull each other up.
Yeah.
So we're all fighting for one seat at the table, build the table, or you're like, hey, you know what? I can't do this, but I have somebody that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to start hearing. So anyway, I appreciate everyone engaging in this level of conversation. I don't think it's going away because race is part of our lives. Yeah. I know some people try to ignore it, right? We have people say that, I don't see color.
I don't see color. Racism doesn't exist anymore. We've had a black president before. Like, what?
Yep.
It is still alive and well.
So the question is how do we get through our day without it affecting us too heavily, right? this is a 35-minute conversation or 25-minute conversation, and we're gonna move on. But it's still there. It's still lingering, right? And people still have the audacity to say things that they have no business saying, no experience. Or maybe they do have an experience, and you know what? That's your bad for choosing wrong. Make better decisions, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Or ma'am.
Or ma'am.
Or man.
Or ma'am.
Or ma'am. We, as adults, our big age, let's make sound decisions. And on that note, thank you for listening to Shamelessly Shontay. Bye.
You don't gotta dodge them sunbeams. Just put on your black girl sunscreen. Ay, black don't crack a dozen. Black people get sunburned too.